So, as you're playing through a game, you have a clear-cut idea that you are doing what is right and what is best for that world. But what if you were the villain of a different story? Hi, I'm Justin, and welcome to the XP Log, a daily-ish podcast about my gaming journey. And today, I would like to explore villains. More specifically, humanizing villains or sympathizing with the villain, because bad guys have feelings too. First, I would like to talk about the difference between villains and anti-heroes. So, traditionally, a villain is fighting for a cause. It doesn't necessarily have to be an evil cause, but they're fighting for a cause nonetheless that can harm other people, that hurts other people, and they don't care about the means, they just care about the results. And I think the difference between that and an anti-hero is the anti-hero has more limits. The anti-hero generally won't hurt, I almost said civilians, won't hurt innocents. Only the people directly in conflict that have done bad things, right? But they do hurt them. They're, think like the Punisher and probably Kratos from God of War and stuff like that. Like they be messing up. They be messing up the bad guys, and not in a heroic way, right? They don't really have heroic qualities, right? So I think that it's a very fine line between a villain and an anti-hero, in my opinion. And maybe, just maybe, it depends on who's telling the story, whether they are the anti-hero or the villain of that story. And I think these kinds of antagonists are important to stories, not just stories in game, but stories in general, humanizing the villain, giving them human motivations and emotions. Sometimes it's grief or betrayal, or in a recent case of a game I beat, bringing their family back together. It's not just evil. It's not just to destroy the world. It's not just to cause pain. They themselves have had pain caused to them, and it's their attempt to heal that pain by any means necessary that makes them a villain. And I think this morally gray, ambiguous narrative has an important role to play in stories, because now, yes, you do want to kind of just beat the bad guy, but now you don't want to have to take him out, but you have to, because for the hero or the betterment of the world or environment or whatever, their ends don't justify the means. If you have to destroy the world to save the world, then that's not good enough for the hero. That there must be another way. And I guess that's the difference. The hero always tries to find the way that is the least destructive, and the villain probably just going to beeline it for, whatever gets them what they want, right? Whatever their goal is. And really, this matters to us as players as well, because it humanizes the narrative, and it adds depth, and it kind of forces us to reflect, like, what would you do if you lost everything? Put yourself in the villain's shoes. If you suddenly came home and everything you loved was destroyed, would you then destroy who destroyed it and anybody who got in your way or that you perceived to have gotten in your way? What would you do, right? Or what would you want to do? Maybe the big difference between a hero, anti-hero, and a villain is regulation, right? Maybe the hero wants to go tear his head off, and the anti-hero will only do it if, he attacks me, I'll tear his head off. But the villain is like, nah, he deserves this. This is what I'm doing, right? Does that make sense? It makes sense to me. It also makes the world and the story feel more like real and emotional. And it kind of encourages like sympathy and introspection. Even if you disagree with how they're doing it, you understand why they're doing it. And I think that makes the best kinds of villains. But yeah, maybe next time when you're facing off against a bad guy, maybe you think about why they're a bad guy. And are they really just a bad guy, or are they a hurt guy? A misunderstood guy? I guess it doesn't have the same ring as bad guy, but So my question for you is, what villain or anti-hero made you stop and think, wait, are they really a bad guy? Leave comments on Spotify and YouTube. Please like and follow in the places and share with your friends. It would really help me out. If you enjoyed this podcast episode about bad guys having feelings, because that's what we do best, is talk about our feels. Anyways, that's all the time I have for today. Hope you have a good one. Peace out.